Good evening, this is Platformer Fan with a review of The Nut Job. Because why not? Alright, you know what? I'm sorry. That was terrible. I am terrible. You know what? No more acorny jokes on this video. I promise. Okay, let's move on to the story now. It begins with the exploits of a mostly self-sufficient squirrel named Surly, whose loner nature ends up annihilating his neighbor's supply of food. Through the power of plot, the two parties form a reluctant truce to nab various nuts from a group of undercover criminals. Hilarity ensues. And some political undertones if you're into that stuff. In regards to the animation, I noticed in the opening credits that there were actually 3 studios working on this film. I think it was for the best though because the animation overall looks nice. The animals' fur textures look convincing, the humans don't look creepy, and overall the world's cartoony aesthetic is pleasing to the eyes. Animation is adequate. Adequate is also the word I'd say that I would use for the cast of characters, which I guess will very much disagree with most of the most common consensus amongst critics. I'd say as a whole, Surly and his rat partner Buddy are pretty interesting as a duo, although I do wish the movie had elaborated on their friendship more. Perhaps in the prequel in 10 years? And then there's Andy the Squirrel, probably the most amiable character in the entire film, and maybe Surly's love interest. I mean, the movie doesn't really force any implications on the audience, and I can actually respect the writers for that. And coming with Andy is Grayson the Squirrel, the fake ultimate hero, if you will. He kind of straddles the line between hilarious and somewhat obnoxious, but in his defense, being obnoxious is kind of his shtick, and well, he's not in the film that much, so. Alright, let's see. Overall, I'd say that characters and plot make more of this movie stand out than the actual humor. And in regards to the humor, even though it's called The Nut Job, there aren't any of those kinds of jokes. And actually, I have to really applaud the writers for that. I mean, that took self-control. That took nuts. But in all seriousness, I'd say this is a film you'd want to take your kids or little siblings to, or, go by yourself. That's what I did. Overall, I'd say The Nut Job is, well, pretty darn good.